And I came at it honestly. I actually learned to fly at Lookout Mountain Flight Park in 1989 and started flying hang gliders there. And that was one of my resting places as I traveled the world as a professional musician for almost 20 years. And after I started making films, it just occurred to me that that place was such a huge part of my life. And it's such an interesting story how it got there and the people who make it what it is, that I wanted them to have some kind of voice and make a record of the place, you know, a record of what it became and what it means to so many people. So that was the starting of the film, and that's really what it's about. It's about the people who fly. And those of us who fly love to fly. So hopefully that comes across in the film.
About, for those who didn't see the film, tell us a little bit about it, how the story found you.
Well, I wanted to paddle the Mississippi myself, and I did a little research, and I found Dale Sanders to be, he had already paddled it. He was kind of paddling royalty at that time, and he is a river angel, and so halfway down, he will cater you if you need it. And so he kind of became this legend in my mind, and I imposed myself on him. I looked him up, I crept him on Facebook, and I sent him this message, let's get coffee. And he had seen a few of my photos and thought, you know, he really liked him, and he said that he made me feel really good about the things I had already done. And that really cemented my decision when he asked me to, you know, be a part of his team, at least photograph him going down the river. Yeah, and then I got home and I'm like, I can't do this alone for 3 months. You know, I still had obligations through work, so he said, well, I know this team. They hike and make films. They hiked the CDT and some other trails that they could probably tell you. Alex Namey, and I gave them a call and they said, we want to do this, and I wanted to do it, so. Still love the Mississippi, and it was, you know, that's where it came from.
Alex and Amy, what did it feel like seeing it on the big screen? I don't know which one wants to take that first, but what was it like seeing it? The crowd was really into it. I think they were loving it. Let me help you with the cord there.
I forgot the question.
I did too. No, what was it like seeing it on the big screen with the auditorium full of folks who were really into the film?
It was really exciting. We had put a lot of work into this film. Normally you would have, at the very minimum for a 90-minute feature film, about 6 months to up to 2 years. We did it in about 3 months. So we were working night and day, a lot of 15-hour days, a lot of 25 to 28-hour days to get this film done. And it's fantastic of like how well it came out with a lot of sleepless nights in doing it. So it was really enjoyable to watch everybody and see everybody laugh and actually take it in and enjoy it. So it was fantastic.
I think that y'all sent the film over, what, about 10 days ago, 12 days ago?
On my birthday, on the 4th.
I never doubted you guys. I was not worried in the least about that film. Nope, not me. I was not worried. Oh yeah, that was one of them. Well, let's open it up. Any questions from the audience? Well, I've got a few more, but I'd love to hear one from the audience. If anybody has anything to ask, either of the groups. Yes.
What was the most complicated thing about being on the river? Because I can't imagine, I've seen like filmmakers do these things over the last 11 years, and I can't imagine adding water all the time to that. How do you do that?
To repeat the question is, what was the most complicated part of filming on the river with water everywhere? Y'all had rain a lot of days too.
I guess I'll just start with the first week that we were out there filming. Amy and I were in a canoe that somebody lent to us, so it's a big heavy aluminum canoe, and we had both of our dogs in the canoe with all of our camera gear, and we're not paddlers. We were also learning how to paddle the canoe. Well, we were paddling the first week on the Mississippi River, which a lot of people say is the most technical and challenging.
And Dale was fast.
And then Zach and Kyle were also following along, and they were across the river, so every time we come to a bridge, we would see them, or we'd see a drone meeting us on the river every time we get close to a road crossing. And, none of us could be there for the entire paddle, because of our own obligations and our funding and all that kind of stuff, so between the four of us, Kyle, who's not here, we all just kind of made it out to the river whenever we could, whenever we could afford to. And there were a lot of logistical things about trying to get a boat, whenever we could, to actually be on the river with the paddlers, because that was always our goal, but didn't always happen. So just kind of every single day was just making it work and contacting people and just doing whatever we can do to get the best shots.
Jim, for you and your crew, what were some of the big challenges to pull off a film like this?
Lack of time was one of our biggest things. We, most of our crew's from Colorado, and of course, Lookout Mountain Flight Park, just outside the lovely city of Chattanooga, Tennessee. Thank you very much. So we all had to make our way from various places. Duke is from Wisconsin, so he came down from Wisconsin. And the rest of us from Colorado. So we tried to do the entire thing in eight days. And that included aerial filming, lots of drone filming with hang gliders and paragliders, which was challenging. And so yeah, we got really lucky with the weather. And people were flying while we were here, otherwise it would not have been much of a flying movie. But we got lucky with the people too. Everybody was so willing to work with us. We did, again, probably 14-hour days, and made it all happen in basically 8 days.
So yeah, is this thing on? So no, it's hard to probably have questions for a movie you haven't seen yet, but the thing that, what was it, 8 days you said? So that's the thing that I was really amazed when I saw the film finally come together after the edit, was like Jem has gotten really good at using, I think the challenge that most documentary filmmakers have, even if you're filming over the course of 80-some days, is still having like the pieces that you need to join, to stitch the narrative together. And I was just shocked, because knowing how few days that I was involved with the filming of this particular project, and knowing, that Jem was just like, oh, I wish I had more time or more. He's also a commercial pilot, so he's got his job that he's trying to, and I'm sure a lot of us are trying to balance, day jobs or whatever. But just, I think that's one thing that I think they'll be impressed with, is just his ability to stitch a narrative together with limited resources of, well, all the things, all the limited resources, but the time thing, So I applaud you on that. I was impressed personally, so.
I did not pay him to say that.
You and the green hat
Yes.
with the elderly gentleman here.
Hey, watch your mouth!
Why do you keep slowing yourself down with film crews?
He says, why do you keep slowing yourself down with film crews?
Paddle speed?
He's for anything.
Well, no, I don't like. I didn't slow down for anybody, I don't think, but I did try to take care of them, make sure that they were taken care of. They were the most important, they were more important than anybody else. I would like to say that, quite a bit of the footage in there was shot with this, can you believe that? Was shot with this right here.
Dale's a good photographer.
And your 360 film pro.
Can I say one more thing about the film festival? Because you notice that the name of the boat was Perseverance. Well, I'm not one to change things, but I had a contest, boat naming contest on social media, and I'd already had the boat name. But when Steve sent me that suggestion after the fact, I can't believe I did it, but I canceled the name that I picked, and I thought that was so perfect, Perseverance. Yeah. And that's how the name of the boat became about. Thanks, Steve.
Very proud, the last 2 years to give out the Dale Sander Perseverance Award. I've got one other question for this group, then we'll go back to the audience. So, when it was a long river, it's a long life. how do you condense that down? And I'm sure there was a lot of stuff left on the editing room floor, so how do you even go about trying to tell those stories?
I guess I'll take it, Amy and I did most of the editing, we started in October, and, got the rough cut done by like mid-December, so we tried to do most of that in about 2 months. We started off by making a daily edit from every single day of the paddle. We didn't have footage from every day, but we had footage from most days, so we ended up with about 80 videos, edited videos, and then we just put those together and just kind of kept condensing. Every single phase, you just keep cutting and keep cutting. One of my mentors in documentary filmmaking said the editing phase is about killing your babies.
Oh.
Because you have all these things that you really like, or it's a really nice shot, and it's really cool on its own, but it doesn't fit into the movie for whatever reason, so you gotta kill those babies.
We also kind of thought of the river as like a timeline, like Dale's timeline, and so, you know, we wanted his story to overlay the amount of time it took, you know, on the river, and kind of a synonymous thing going there.
So this group over here had some giggling when we were talking about editing. I don't know what that's all about. Do we have an editing story? Is that what's happening?
Yeah.
All right, well, let's recognize, yeah, go ahead.
So, I feel these guys are really lucky that Dale is able to be here with them, and they're able to be with him, he's able to be with them. So I just wanted to point out the sort of star of our film is also here tonight. You haven't gotten to see him or meet him yet, but if I could ask Matt Tabor to stand up. He's the owner of Lookout Mountain Flight Park. This world-famous institution for free flight is literally known around the world, and he's spent 40 years of his life making that dream come true for himself, his family, and his extended family of thousands of pilots who would not be pilots if it weren't for him and his vision. So thank you, Matt. Thanks for being here.
A little bit of audience question.
With Graybeard. Graybeard told me the 3 reasons, I think there were 3 reasons why you wanted the film. One of them was
Give them something to look forward to in the 4 days. You know, that's really a